Stop number 10 on the Castrol GTX Cup Series brings us to Sonoma, California, the first road course race of season 36 of the Castrol GTX Cup Series. It's the running of the Fram Autolite 300K as we're set for 17 laps of racing on this 2.52 mile twisty, turny road course here, an uphill, downhill, east side, west side, whichever, however direction it is here on this track. And here's your starting lineup for today's running event. On the pole at a little over 90 miles per hour, it's Dylan Young in car number 2, the more genuine draft Pontiac. He's alongside car number 3, Cole Deaver, in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3. Both drivers have yet to win this season so far. Second row, Joshua Osborne, car number 8, the Snickers Ford, and beside him is the queen of the road, Jessica Shelton, who has one of her 3 in-car cameras in today's event. Number 11, Beaumont Ford. Here, Jessica won a season at Martinsville. Row number 3 is Kyle Matthews in car 42, the Mellow Yellow Pontiac, and number 21, Sitco Ford. Quentin Moore is alongside. Quentin won this season at North Wilkesboro, while Kyle won at Darlington. Row number 4, Trent Dunham in car number 1, the Skull Classic Oldsmobile, and beside him, number 71, Charles Samper, the California Crusher, winner this season at Bristol, the Big Apple Markets Chevrolet. Next round is number 66, Rafael LeDuc. LeDuc won the last race in the Tour at Talladega, the Winston 500, the Phillips 66 Trop Art Ford, and number 52, Seth Colton, the Hurley Limo Ford, excuse me. Next round is number 94, Dylan Poteet, the Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile. He's alongside number 30, it is Zachary Fitzwater, the Pennzoil Pontiac. Next round has number 90, Caleb Fogler, the Splitfire Spark Plugs Ford, excuse me. Beside him, number 5, Austin Reed, the Tide Chevrolet. Next round is number 33, Nathan Orman, the Skull Bandit Oldsmobile. He's beside number 43, Mike Becker, the STP Pontiac. Next round is number 28, Keith Batson, the Texaco Haviland Ford, winner this season at Rockingham. He's flanked by car number 9. It is Cody McGurk, the Milling Performance Ford. Next round is number 66, Paul Minnick, and the Valvoline Ford, and beside him, number 26, Quaker State Ford. Tori Gossett is at the wheel of that machine, the pair of motor oil companies in that row. Next round is number 4, Eric Monaco in the Kodak Film Chevrolet, winner this season at Richmond. He is flanked by number 18, Noah Sewell in the Interstate Batteries Chevrolet. Next row, number 10, Andrew Miller, and number 83, John Andrews. Next round is number 98, Ryan Brommer, and number 55, it is Alexander Rowe. Next round has number 17, Reggie Fogelman, and beside him, number 49, Tito McCoy. Then it's Colin Cropley coming from way out back in the Kodiak Chevrolet car 25, and beside him, number 75, Laura Chung, starts outside. Next round has Ben Cohen in 68, the Country Time Oldsmobile, and beside him, number 15, that's Aubrey Scott, the Motorcraft Ford. Next row down, Christian Bracken, number 12, the Ray Bestis Chevrolet, and beside him, number 22, Mitchell Hodak, the Maxwell House Ford. Next round is number 48, Wes McCoy, in the Brumpel Racing Pontiac, and number 16, Ali Liara in the Keystone Beer Ford. And starting shotgun is Lyle Austin in the Hooters Ford, car number 7. So the field is about to give the command to fire the engines for today's running of the Fram Autolite 300K, and here's the command to fire them up.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Command given to fire the engines today here are other 2 in-car cameras happens to lie in the front 2 rows, Dylan Young and Cole Deaver. Those will be your 3 cameras in today's event here. As the pace car leads the field around for the pace up, we'll be back for the start of the race right after this. Pace car on the pit road here at Sonoma, California, as we're about to get set for green flag racing. Here at Sonoma, California, the first of 3 races on a road course this season will be also heading to Riverside and also to Watkins Glen. And right here is where your glitch point is at too, right here. It only happens on the race when the race restart happens here. Green flag flies, and we're underway at Sonoma. Dylan Young and Cole Deaver were side by side until he headed through the first few turns of this track here. Jessica Shelton waiting to see what happens here. Coming through the S part of the track here. That's 3 and 3A turns wise here. Deaver and Young still side by side as they come into turn number 4. Young is a little bit sideways there, and Cole Deaver pulls ahead at the moment, and Deaver's going to take the lead in turn number 5 and up the hill and downhill for the carousel. That is turn 6 on this course. They come off that corner right there. Here comes Deaver, Young, Shelton, the top 3 right here. Battle for 4th between Joshua Osborne in 8 and Cole and Quentin Moore in 21. Here to come through the first of the 2 hairpins on this course here, down about 44 miles an hour in first gear. In turn number 7, there's Deaver, or I should say, there's Osborne and Moore side by side for 4th position between the Osborne and 8 and Moore in the 21 car. And give the spot to the man to the North Wilkesboro winner, Quentin Moore. Come off turn number 10 right there. It's the last yeses, and now they head for turn 11, and hard on the brakes they go into turn number 11. And down to 36 miles an hour in first gear in turn number 11 goes the leader, Cole Deaver. Then Dylan Young in second position as a flat floor of turn number 12. The yellow flag flies for the first time here today. And it's Laura Chung in 75 and on Colin Cropley. I don't know what happened to him right there. Just slammed into the wall. Here's a replay of what happened to Colin Cropley. He came off turn number 10. He was way wide, as was the 15 car of Aubrey Scott. And just right into the tire barrier he went and took Mitchell Hodak with him in the 22 machine. And at first I thought Cropley kind of hit the end of the tire barrier, hitting in the pit, separated the track from pit road. And Cropley, unfortunately, just absolutely just paid for it right there. And he is, of course, unfortunately, the first car out of the race, the only car out of the race so far. Laura Chung, we heard, was just got off the course, and she that dropped her back to last position. Or last car running right now in 36th position here. Cole Deaver's your leader. Second position is Dylan Young. Third, Jessica Shelton. Fourth is Quentin Moore, Joshua Osborne, Charles Sanford, Seth Cole, Kyle Matthews, Zachary Fitzwater, and Trent Dunham. The top 10 right now. We'll be back for the restart right after this. Pace cars ducks off on the pit road here, again as we restart from the first caution flag of the afternoon. Now I told you about the glitch in that one part of Sonoma that usually always happens in this track here, and we're about to approach that part right here. Watch Deaver stop. That, my friends, is the Sonoma glitch. That's what we call it that. Now, why this happens on this version of Sonoma, I will never tell you why. Because I, honest to God, do not know. Does give Deaver a big jump, though, however, as he goes into turn number 1. Now, some people have been black flagged for this, too, now, however. And Deaver hopes that this not happen to him in that GM Chevrolet here. Dylan Young second. Quentin Moore is now got by Jessica Shelton. Puts now Quentin up to third position. Shelton down to the number 4 spot as you jump on board Jessica Shelton's car. And that Budweiser Ford rounds through turn number 5, up the hill and then back downhill for turn number 6. Southwest Jessica goes down through there, 83 miles an hour in the middle of turn 6, third gear. Puts it down in the 4th gear, but only briefly as she hits the brakes there hard in turn number 7. And down to about 44 miles an hour in 2nd gear goes Jessica Shelton. We saw Deaver go through there in 1st gear. Coming through that area. And down to the S's there. It's turn 8A at this point. And it goes through turn number 9. High speed portion of the course. She slams it down in the 4th gear at this point. Turn number 10 down about 99 miles an hour through here, and hits it down the short little straightaway here, 125 miles an hour, but then hard on the brakes for turn number 11. First gear through turn number 11 at 36 miles an hour, down through and hits into turn number 12. flat to the floor, second gear, third gear. Cross start finish line about 120 miles an hour, and on the fourth gear only briefly up to about 124. Then hard on the brakes for turn number 2, down for second gear at about 49 miles per hour. And that Jessica's last lap, 88.424 miles an hour, and apparently Deaver will not get black flags. What it's looking like for that restart. So he gets out of it clean, and he's your leader of this race right now. Dylan Young second position, and as we mentioned, Moore's third, Shelton fourth, and at the fifth position again, well, still fifth is Joshua Osborne. Seth Cole right now is in sixth position. Seventh right now is Charles Sanford, the hometown hero from Sonoma, California. Or actually not from Sonoma, but he's actually from, well, the LA area. But I'm not going to tell you which LA area it is that Charles is from. Eighth position is Zachary Fitzwater, nicely for that number 30 Pennzoil team. Closing in up on him in ninth is Kyle Matthews, and 10th is Trent Dunham. Raphael LeDuc runs in 11th position in a 66 car. Fresh off that big victory he had at Talladega Super Speedway in the Winston 500 in a tremendous final lap charge. LeDuc had to scrap like a badger in that last lap and a half of that race to hold off a snarling pack. But unlike Talladega, where they were going about 3 or 4 wide at about 195 to over 200 miles an hour, well, this is road racing at about 90 miles per hour here at this track. And whoa, Trent Dunham almost slipped a little bit going into turn number 11. Austin Reed's in 12th position. 13th is Dylan Pote, the driver who won the last time he was on the road course at Watkins Glen last season. And at Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile, he runs right now in 13th position. 14th is Caleb Fogler. 15th is Nathan Orman. Mike Becker 16th. 17th is Paul Minnick. 18th is Eric Monaco. 19th Noah Sewell, and Tori Gossett right now runs in 20th position. So there's your running order right now in the top 20 here at Sonoma after 5 laps of this race here. Cole Deaver leads in the way right now. He only holds the fast lap race so far, and the only lap over 90 miles an hour, 90.563 to be exact. Dylan Young has second fastest at 89 miles an hour. Well, Dylan Young on down to 10th fastest. Charles Sanford all at 89 miles per hour. So there's your and Deaver right now has pulled away to a rather substantial margin right now over the second place car, Dylan Young. We saw how Jessica Shelton drives this track. Let's take a ride with Dylan Young inside the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. You know, remember, Dylan was the pole sitter for the event here. Deaver beat him to the green flag, or beat him to in the turn number 1, I should say, in the start race here. He actually didn't beat him to the green flag on the start, because obviously you get penalized for doing that if you are the outside pole sitter and you do so. Dylan drives in turn number 11 right there, down the first gear. 36 miles an hour, just like we saw with Shelton. Second gear, flat to the floor to turn 12. Third gear. Actually, Dylan does not slam it out on the fourth gear. We saw Shelton go in the fourth gear. That's 50 miles per hour in second gear for Dylan Young. He drives it there faster. Down about 61 miles an hour in turn 3A, and here's a very hard turn, turn 4, and down to about 54 miles an hour that area, up to about 90 plus in another turn 5, up and downhill for turn 6. And see how Dylan drives that turn. He goes through turn in third gear, down to 85 miles an hour for that area, out to turn number 6 at about 100 miles an hour, over 100 miles an hour. Slams it down to the fourth gear, but only briefly. Here he comes into turn number 7. Hits it hard on the brakes. Tries to close in on Deaver going into that turn. And down to 44 miles an hour in second gear goes Dylan Young. And here he comes, drives it through the S's. 105 miles an hour into turn number 8. Here comes turn 8A. Puts it up in the third gear. Slams it back down in the fourth. And into about turn number 9, about 97 miles an hour to that area. And then back into turn number 11. See how fast he goes this time. He tries to close it again on Cole Deaver. And down to 36 miles an hour in first gear for that number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. And that lap for Dylan, 90.337 miles an hour. So that's a lap around Sonoma, California, courtesy of one Dylan Young, the defending series champion in season 35. Dylan looks to get back in the contention for his season 36 championship in the series. The man who runs the Universal Orlando Cup Series and also the NNSCRA Spectrum Mobile Cup Series, and also runs the the Outback Steakhouse Xfinity Series and for his channel, and for his main sanction, the NRSL. But Dylan does run an NNSCRA series himself as well too. As we mentioned, he runs the NNSCRA Spectrum Mobile Cup Series, which uses the 2001 Winston Cup car set. Dylan brings it down into turn number 7 right there. He's actually a second and a half behind Cole Deaver. Deaver just absolutely dominating this race so far. There's a good look at Quentin Moore to go forward, the two-time series champion. And in fact, one of the championships he won with this very car in season 26 to go forward. 1992 model right there. This is a 1992 car set we're doing this season. And he'll be staying with this ride for the next 3 seasons for the 1993, 1994, and the 1995 car sets for the series right there. But Quentin right now is in 3rd position. He hopes to do the same thing with this car like he did in season 36, season 26, and that was win the championship with this Morgan Shepherd scheme right there. And if you know Quentin Moore, he always wants a Morgan. He always likes to have a Morgan Shepherd car in this series right there, just like Cole Deaver always likes to have a Dale Earnhardt car. And same thing goes with the driver behind Quentin Moore. If it's a Bill Elliott car, you always find Jessica Shelton driving it right there, and that's the Bill Elliott car that she is driving in this season. And she'll be with this number 11 car this season, and also next season and season 38, with the 1993 and 1994 car sets. Now Shelton did tell me, however, she did not like Elliott's 1995 scheme, the 1995 version of the McDonald's number 94. So try to figure out what to do when we do go into 1995. But she did like the Thunderbat scheme though. However, that Elliott had that very season. So we'll see how it works out right there. But she did win this season at Martinsville Speedway though. She did that in dominating fashion. In that number 11 Bowser car, she's won many times at Sonoma herself, but she jumped back on board with Jessica. She right now, as we mentioned, 4th position is where she's at right now. And she is currently 3.2 seconds back behind the leaders right there, trying to close up on Quentin Moore for the number 3 position. Jessica, a 6-time champion in the series, looking for number 7 this season. Joshua Osborne is looking for his 4th championship in this series. And running Snickers machine. This is the first season time driving the Snickers machine. Remember this car last season was a Buick with Noah Sewell driving that car last season. And this season Osborne with that brown and kind of a orangish reddish side on that car. On that 1992 Snickers Ford right there that Osborne's driving. That is a Stavola Brothers entry that he is running right here. You remember last season he drove the Quaker State car. And in fact, won with the Quaker State machine in season 30. I want to say season 33, I think it was. Here at Sonoma. Osborne trying to close up on the back of Jessica Shelton right there. Meantime, closing on the back of Osborne is Seth Cole in car 52, the winner this season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. In the Hurley Limo Ford. That car next season is going to have Napa on board. Seth, the leader of the NNSCRA, runs in 6th position. Osborne getting way off the track right here and clips the wall, and Osborne coming down pit road after as soon as he clipped that wall. Osborne was in 5th position, and that, I don't know how much that damaged at number 8 Snickers Ford. And he comes down pit road 35 miles an hour, and we'll bring that car to the attention of the Snickers crew. And Osborne had been thinking, don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall. Aw, nuts. And Joshua brings the car to the attention of the Snickers crew, and he's out of the race. Oh, bummer. For the number 8 machine right there. There's, as you get a look at Laura Chung, she's gotten past Mitchell Hodak. So Osborne, the second car to fall out there, and also the 10 and 28 cars have fallen out. The 10 of Andrew Miller and the 28 of Keith Batson. Both those cars have fallen out of the running here at Sonoma as well, too. So Osborne becomes the 4th retiree out of the race. He'll finish 34th, Miller 35th, Batson 36th, and Cropley. I'm sure he's going to hate the finish. He's going to finish the last position. I'm sure Cropley will disapprove of that. So that's now going to move Seth Cole in 5th position. Charles Sanford up to 6th place. 7th is now Zachary Fitzwater. 8th is Kyle Matthews. 9th, Raphael LeDuc. And 10th right now is Trent Dunham. That's how the top 10 is at, right. That's how 6 through 10 is right now, or 5th through 10, excuse me. The top 4 still remain status quo here at Sonoma Raceway, with Cole Deaver holding now a near 2-second advantage over Dylan Young here in this event here. And we mentioned in the 3rd camera car, well, there's the 3rd camera car, and it happens to be your leader, Cole Deaver, the man out of the state of Georgia. And Cole has never won here at Sonoma. He would like to definitely do so. He's won on a road course before, but Sonoma's not one of them. And Deaver could be 5.5 laps away from doing so right now. As we're on the 12th lap of this event. Puts her up in the 3rd gear right there, into turn number 6, the carousel, and down about 85 miles an hour to that area, just like I saw Dylan Young do a little bit earlier. Lincoln between 85 and 86 miles an hour. And hits into turn number 7 at 132 miles an hour. See how fast Deaver goes into turn number 7, down to 44 miles an hour in 1st gear for Cole. Remember, Deaver was the outside pole sitter in this event, but he's led every lap of this race so far. Dylan Young was the pole sitter, and so unfortunately for Dylan, he has not led a lap, not yet at least. And if Deaver can help it there, he hopes to keep Dylan at bay here at this juncture of the event. Heads into turn number 11, excuse me. And down to 36 miles an hour again. So all the drivers keeping it very consistent as far as heading through the corners here, as far as taking the corners here at Sonoma. A lot of drivers staying consistent lap-wise here. And you see for Deaver, his last lap, 89.898 miles an hour, almost 90 miles an hour. So Cole looking good right now at this point here in this area, as we now have 5 laps remaining in this event. And all the 10 fast laps race so far over 90 miles per hour. Caleb Fogler now has the 10th fast lap of the race so far. Fogler right now running in 13th position in that split-fire spark plugs Ford. And there's a good look at Caleb and that number 90 split-fire machine, that red, white, and blue on that Ford Thunderbird. Chasing down Dylan Poteet, the number 94 Sunoco Ultra machine. Poteet runs 12th, and Austin Reed up ahead of him in 11th, and that tied Chevrolet, excuse me. Austin hopes to get back in the victory lane this season. Right there, he has been feast or famine this season, pretty much in that number 5 machine. And Austin prides himself on having some good runs there. Now he was, remember season 33 when he had the number 84 Miller, genuine Miller High Life Buick in this series here. Austin started off not too good, but then as the seasons went on, his car started improving. Now I don't believe he won a race in season 33. In fact, I don't think he did. But he did come back in season 34 and had some darn good runs, as he also did in season 35. And here in season 36, he hoped, as we mentioned, still priding himself on improving as a driver there. But he's definitely one of the top contenders in the series, no question about it. And Trent Dunham's on pit road, number 1. There he is. And Dunham now brings his Skull Classic Oldsmobile to the attention of his Skull crew. And there's Trent pulling in the pit road. And it's a tire, apparently a tire going down in the Skull Classic Oldsmobile. There's the, they're going to change 4 tires on that car. Fills it full of fuel right there. Dunham is down and away. But that is going to drop Dunham down to 33rd position here. The last car running right now. All the cars are on the lead lap, though, but track position is very, very critical at any track we go to, but especially on a road course. Even on a road course, there are a lot of things can happen on a road course, as we've seen already here today at Sonoma. And we talked about Austin Reed running in 11th position. Well, guess what? He's now 10th position right now in that number 5 tied ride. And there is Austin, as we was talking about him a little earlier. We was talking about him when Trent Dunham came on the pit road. But back to what I was saying about Austin Reed. He hopes to bring that car back in the victory lane sometime, and he hopes this season too. That tie machine out of Hendrick Motorsports, he feels that team is better than what the car's showing in the last several races here. Now, like I said, Austin running good right now though, and he hopes to have a really good piece by the time we get the next race on the tour at Charlotte Motor Speedway when we go there for not only the Winston All-Star Weekend, but also the Coca-Cola 600, which will be the next Point Spain stop on the tour. And speaking of the Winston All-Star race here, this is also the last race to qualify your way into the Winston as well too, without having to rely on the Winston Open, which of course, as always, features the top 5 finishers in that event, and that is to say also too, you finish top 5 in that event, you will qualify your way into the All-Star race here as well too. If you're 6th on down, then well, better luck in the 600 obviously. Rafael Leduc in car 66 runs in 9th position in that car here. Kyle Matthews runs in 8th. 7th is Zachary Fitzwater, as we mentioned, having a solid run. Having a solid road course set up underneath that bright yellow Pennzoil Pontiac. Charles Stanford, a California driver, runs in 6th position here. The California Crusher, as he is known, that blue number 71. He will drive the number 24 car next season, the DuPont Chevrolet out of Hendrick Motorsports. He'll be back with that. He'll be reunited with that ride. Seth Cole, the head of the NNSCRA himself right there, the El Presidente of the NNSCRA, I guess you might say. He's in 5th position right now. The Atlanta winners we mentioned. Jessica Shelton up ahead of him in 4th. 3rd is Quentin Moore. Dylan Young 2nd position and earning second place right now. And leading him down with 2 to go. Coming to the white flag next time by is Cole Deaver, who has been the dominant car so far here at Sonoma. As he tries to take the Dale Earnhardt colors to victory lane for the first time this season. And Deaver is on Revenge Tour Season 36 2022 as this race is being recorded. Had the championship pretty much locked up right there. Led the points in every race last season, and only to get screwed out on the last race of the season in Atlanta when a crash took him out of the event, and Dylan Young finished where he needed to finish to snag the title away from Deaver, and Deaver still does not want to be reminded of that moment. Obviously, it reminded him a lot of season, I think it was season 19, season 19 or season 20. I think it was season 19 when he had the lead going in the points at Homestead when the season used to end at Homestead. And he had the points lead right there, got taken out in the crash in that event, and lost out on the championship to Joshua Osborne for the title. And you know, if Dave released the points again going into Atlanta, he hopes to have a big enough lead to where he does not lose it this time. But Deaver's running turn number 11 right now. He's going to see the white flag this time by in the GM Goodrich Chevrolet. Flies by the front stretch here. The white flag is out. 2.52 miles remain for Cole Deaver. He has a 1.97 second advantage over Dylan Young. And it's another thing about road course racing. It takes a lot of finesse to drive these courses. And it's not just Sonoma, but also Riverside, where our next road race will be at, and also at Watkins Glen. So it takes a lot of finesse to drive one of these cars here, and not to mention hitting your points. And one little slip, and your advantage could be dwindled to nothing, just about. But so far, so good for Deaver. He brings that. He's run this course okay. So run the last lap okay so far. Now goes to turn number 6. Back on the gas right there, off turn number 6, the carousel on this course here, and heading into turn number 7. Averaging 80.806 miles an hour so far in this event here. Down through turn number 8. There's 8A on this course right here at Sonoma. Inside with Cole Deaver as he comes through turn number 9. Off turn number 10, he comes right there. Go ahead, about to head on to turn number 11. Heads down through this area right here. It comes off turn number 11 and heading through turn number 12. And after turn number 12, he comes right there, and you are on board, and you're taking the checker flag with Cole Deaver. Deaver wins at Sonoma. One of the few times we get to ride on board with the winner of the event. They're across the start finish line to take the checker flag, and Cole Deaver dominates the day at Sonoma, California, winning the Fram Autolite 300K. By a 2.04 second domination. Just some tremendous muscle under the hood of that GM Goodrich Chevrolet. The Dale Earnhardt colors on that Chevy Lumina, just absolutely just powerful here today. 81.823 miles an hour, the average speed in today's event. Given the rest of the finishing order here, Dylan Young finishes second position as the results are now official. Quentin Moore third. Fourth will go to Jessica Shelton. Fifth place will go to Seth Cole. Sixth place will go to Charles Sanford, and Zachary Fitzwater a solid seventh. Eighth to Kyle Matthews. Ninth, Raphael LeDuc. And Austin Reed with a nice 10th place finish here today. Dylan Pothier a solid 11th here today. Caleb Fogor 12th. Mike Becker 13th. Paul Minnick comes home in 14th position, the Daytona 500 winner of the season. 15th goes to Nathan Orman. 16th, Eric Monaco. Noah Sewell 18th. Cody McGirt 19th. Tori Gossett comes home 19th, and 20th to Reggie Fogelman. Then Ryan Brummer, John Andrews, Alexander Rowe, Lyle Austin, Tito McCoy, Ben Cohen, Aubrey Scott, Christian Bracken, Wes McCoy, and Laura Chung was the top 30. And the rest of the finishing order here, Ali Liara, Mitchell Hodak, and Trent Dunham. What a tough break he had. He was running in 5th position when problems set in on that Skull Classic. Ultimately, he had that tire go down on him. He ends up finishing lead lap, but ends up finishing 33rd, the last car to finish here, 50 seconds back of the leader. Cars out of the race were Joshua Osborne, Andrew Miller, Keith Batson, and Colin Cropley. Those are the cars out of the race here. Osborne was running in 3rd position. Actually, he was running in 5th position, when he had problems that knocked him out. When he clipped the tire barrier, it knocked him right out of the race. So that's your finishing here today, and congratulations once again to Cole Deaver, the winner of the Fram Autolite 300K, the 3-time series champion, or 2-time series champion, I should say. Looking for number 3 in this series for sure here. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports Gaming channel. We got everything on this channel. We got inner races, we got gaming videos, we got inner online videos. Whatever the president of the NNSCRA South Dakota desires to have for his channel, be sure to check out the Store Cell Cup Series, the main series on his channel. And if you want in on future seasons of Seth's series, we'll be sure to get with Seth and he'll get you going. Also, be sure to check out our other two channels that does NNSCRA offline. That channel being X86753985X is Dylan Young's channel. Subscribe to his stuff subscribe to his channel for some cool stuff, including his NNSCRA Spectrum Mobile Cup series. And also subscribe to the channel that he and Kyle Matthews do together. That channel being We the Coasters. If you are a roller coaster / theme parks / amusement park fan, then We the Coasters is a channel for you. And subscribe to that channel for some cool stuff, and also subscribe to this channel you're watching here, the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel, for some cool stuff as well too. So that would do it here today in Sonoma, California. For now, it's James Golson. This has been a production of the NNSCRA celebrating 11 years of offline racing at its best. We'll see you at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Winston All-Star Weekend.